Oh, I'm dropping bars today. What kind of battery does your man need? Because here's a problem with a lot of you women, a lot of you black women. All right, here's a problem, okay? Y'all need to understand. Sometimes your man need an A battery, not a double A. But if you just an ugly person, like if you just ugly, some people are just ugly, and you can't get around that. Like some people are just fives on a good day. It's just what it is, and you can't get around that, and that it's okay because there are a lot of fives who are doing very well in life.
The Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. I decided I want to become a billionaire, doing what I already love to do every day, and documenting my journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is DonivanGray, and this is how I'll turn my life into a living. So first, I want to start off by giving a shout out to the Bamboo Project family. The goal is for me to hit $1 million. And once I'm done, I'm going to help 1,000 of you get there. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms, okay? Such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 300 videos on our channel. Dr. Sabi inspired cooking tutorials, we got that. Travel lifestyle vlogs, got it. Makeup, got it. Hair growth, got it. Real estate, got it. Basketball, got it. It's everything us. We post something on our story pretty much every single day, so you can find me on Instagram at DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. So they said you can't be rich being a jack of all trades. Well, we're going to prove them wrong. We have 6 different projects, all right? We have the food project. We have the music project. We have the clothing project. We have the fitness project. We have the sports project. And we have the Bamboo Project Podcast, which you are listening to right now. This may be your first time here. And if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 2, page 58 of this story, okay? People who are new, we have 4 segments on a podcast. We have the life update. It's a weekly update on what we went through last week. We have episode playback. It's a recap of last week's episode and the things I feel like I could have done better to make it a better episode. Then we have Donovan's questions, a philosophical question that I had during the week. I'm like, you know what? I want to share with people. I want to see what they think about it. And I present that question here. And then we have the 4th segment, which would be the topic of the day. Okay. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description below. Today's date is April 27th. It is 4:13 p.m. So we started late. I feel like we've been behind. Well, I feel like I'm behind for the week. I don't know how Melissa feels. I definitely feel like things could be a lot better. I feel like I still have to we're shooting this at 4 o'clock. Then we didn't do the Dealinator video. We also did not do the weekly wholesale video. And then we have to do the video again tomorrow for the Dealinator. And we got to do the one today after the podcast. So, and I still got to do some wholesaling stuff. So I'm just like, I feel like I'm definitely behind. I got some more things I got to do. So, for today, we have, some topics. Today it's going to be, I think, topic heavy. It's not usually very topic heavy on the podcast, but life update, I can't really think of a lot that happened last week. And, you know, as we go on, Melissa will remind me if I remember anything, because I don't really know what happened last week. But today I want to talk about a Michael Jai White interview he had. We talked about the corona nonsense. I also want to kind of touch on hyperinflation, which is why everybody's probably going to be broke very soon. And then a couple of topics. I said a couple of topics today. It's not normally this many. The diets that people are taking or people are on, why you should have a lot of debt, why debt is great to have, a theory that me and Melissa came up with yesterday or day before yesterday about who should date who, and why men would rather their girlfriend leave them for another man as opposed to fuck another man. Interesting. As you guys know, we bought a house recently and we are waiting on some more money to come in. And if y'all are new, you don't know this, people who are here, we are hell-bent on going to Atlanta. Like, very serious at this point. I mean, before it was 100%, but now it's like 130%. Like we are trying to get there as fast as possible, and we're looking at every possible route to get there. We're still waiting on AJ, and like I said before, we were waiting on George. We got the money from George. Well, we didn't get the money, but it was approved, so we're still waiting to get it in our account. But AJ, that's the big bag, and when we get the big bag, that's when we really want to go and leave. Like, we're like, all right, we just gonna get up out of here. Before, we wanted to get like 200,000. That's what the plan we had. If we could get like 50, 60, we're still leaving. Like, I really just maybe a change of scenery I want. Maybe I just don't want to be in New York. I want to go to Atlanta. I want to get stuff moving over there. All I know is I really want to go to Atlanta. So we're waiting on AJ to give us that money or to get the money for us. We're currently flipping the house now. We're not even sure if we got the money from him, when we will be able to actually leave. Well, we talked about that. What did we say? Because we were like, if we get the money from tomorrow, next week, we're going to have to, what is that called? We have to do? What is it called? Capitalize the business?
Capitalize. Oh, yeah. So we said that we would have to capitalize the business from now, just because they're going to probably ask us for our bank statements. So if we start doing that from now, whenever we get the money from AJ, probably I think we need to have at least 2 months.
Okay, so we told 2 months from today will be the earliest we could leave. Okay.
If we start today.
Right. So capitalizing the business means that you take money from your account and you put it into the business account. And the reason that we're going to do that is so that when we go over there, they can see that the business has income coming in. So that's what we're trying to do. It looks good in your bank statements. So we're kind of just trying to figure that out right now. Man, I tell you, I'm fake exhausted. One positive I want to say, very great positive. Melissa, my beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend. Okay, so you guys, people don't know this, right? Okay. I believe that one of a lot of women's problems that they have in their life is the relationship they have with their dad, right? Now, this is not a new thought or idea or even conversation, right? But it's just something that I always think, and I think people kind of overlook it. People know it exists. People say, yeah, I have my daddy issues. People say, I'm a daddy's girl. People say, I don't really care about if I have my dad in my life or not. People just kind of glide over it. They kind of feel like it's whatever. So today, we found some very interesting information, because Melissa and her dad have a very interesting relationship. Interested? No. I feel like that's overzealous. I'm going to say they know that each other are alive. They know they exist. That's what I want to say. I think that her dad knows that she exists, and she knows her dad exists. However you want to take that as a relationship, that's what's happening right now. However, he posted today on his Instagram that his birthday, it's his birthday. So the reason why this is very interesting to me is because my birthday is in 2 days. Okay, it's on Thursday, and it's funny because I wasn't gonna say anything on the podcast about it. I really don't care about birthdays like that. But I think it's funny because Melissa, who has a very distant relationship with her dad, somehow found me, who is born 2 days before her dad is, right? So I'm a Taurus. If people, I know women are probably like, oh my God, he's probably yes, I'm a Taurus. Yes, I am. Honestly, in my opinion, the greatest sign out there. Nobody has a problem with a Taurus other than they say y'all are hard-headed, and that's it. And it's like, that's not really like a bad, like, nobody, you don't hear no horror stories about Taurus. Like, nobody really has like, oh my God, they did a Taurus and they did this. It don't happen, because we're chill, relaxed people. We do what we gotta do. We care about getting to the bag. We want everybody to be happy. We just be chilling. And then when you're wrong, we're gonna tell you that you're wrong. That's all. That's it. So the funny thing about this is that, as a person who loves psychology, I love to study the brain, how people work, right? One of the things people talk about is that women tend to date the guy they tend to go for a guy that's similar to their dad, right? So because Melissa did not have a relationship with her dad, I'm like, dang, I wonder how that applies in this situation. So I figured, well, coincidentally, her mom is a Taurus, right? So I'm like, obviously, because me and her mom are actually similar, kind of, which is funny because... Do you think we're similar, or do you think that we are similar with you?
I would say you guys are kind of similar.
Okay, so Melissa's mom and I are similar, right? So in my head, I'm like, oh, obviously, something about Melissa's mom that she grew up with her attracted her to me, right? So you can see why I would find it kind of funny that her dad was born 2 days before I was born. So it's like, maybe, wow, maybe that's crazy. How long were they dating? Were they together?
I don't know.
Like years, you think?
I don't know.
You don't even know how long they were talking, Melissa?
No.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Y'all gotta talk about this. Y'all need to have these conversations. How do you not know? You don't even have an idea, like a year, 2 years, 3 years. Lord have mercy. Okay. The reason that I was asking that question, right, is because it's very similar. Wow. Okay. It's very similar to my cousin situation, right? Where I said that my cousin tends to date guys that her mother would attract, right? So I'm wondering if the personality that Melissa's mother has somehow or in part comes from him, right? Because I don't know how long they were dating for. So I'm wondering if there's any part of that's why Melissa was attracted to me, because of whatever her mom picked up from the guy that she was dating. You making a face. You making...
Listening.
Right? So I'm like, I wonder if me and him are similar, because I'm similar to your mom. I wonder that's where it came from.
Well, you're doing a lot of wondering.
Well, all my wondering will be done when Melissa goes to see her dad on one of these days coming up, because he doesn't even live in New York. He lives in, I think, Florida, right? Yeah. So he said he's gonna come up here. She called him for his birthday, which to me was an amazing thing, because I'm like, wow, Melissa, that's amazing. Because I was gonna say, you know me, I'm always like, confront your fears and your anxieties and everything that you're hard over. You got to overcome stuff, right? I always say that kind of thing. So she was thinking about like calling her dad. Now, why do you think? Were you crying during this period, Melissa?
Yes, I was crying.
Now, why do you think that was? What do you think the reason was for that?
What do you mean? Like what? I wasn't crying on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I was crying about something that we were talking about.
Okay, what was that? What were we talking about that made you cry?
We were talking about, I didn't like that my dad, when I would talk to him, two things I didn't like, I guess, was there was a time we were texting, and he misspelled my first name.
How do you spell it?
Melissa.
Melissa.
That's how I spell my name.
Oh, I'm like to say, damn, I got your name wrong. I swear. I was like, how did he? I'm like, he spelled it Meli. Oh, bro, I swear. I'm like, so how was your name spelled? Okay, so that was the correct way to spell it.
Yes.
Got you. And how did he spell it?
Melissa.
I want you to see my face. Maybe I didn't hear. I'm gonna repeat it. Okay.
It's a comment.
It's not even. What? I'm about to tell them for them first, because that's crazy.
Or maybe it was something else. I might still have the text message.
Okay, because this is what I just heard. Right? Melissa just said that she was upset with her dad because her name is spelled Melissa, right? And her dad texted her Melisa. He forgot the other S.
Yeah, we gonna see.
And just like that, boom, now he's a terrible father. Ain't shit dad, deadbeat. It's crazy.
That's not.
Really. Because I think that's crazy. That's crazy to me. Because I'm like, what if he just forgot the S? What if it was a typo? Like, how do you know if it was a typo or not? Did he say it more than once? Or is he like Melissa with one S?
It was more than once.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was something else too. But I don't see the message for some reason.
You know, he probably spelled it correctly. That's why.
It seems seems like
it was one time.
No. It seems like he might have messaged me more than once, and I didn't respond.
Recently.
This was in 2018 and 2019.
What did he say?
He said Merry Christmas. And he said,
Oh my goodness. See, we're gonna have an intervention. So okay, I'm gonna tell you why we have an intervention. But come on. So that was one reason. Okay, but you didn't explain why you were crying though, or why you were tearing up. I don't want to say crying, 'cause I feel like there's differences.
I was tearing up because yes, he had misspelled my name, and he had said happy birthday to me, but it wasn't on the right day. So honestly, I don't even know if today's his birthday. Like, but either way, he had misspelled my name, this happy birthday. And Donivan was like, well, y'all don't really have a relationship. It's not, what were you saying? You're saying something. You're saying something like, you're his daughter and you don't know his birthday. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But like, he's supposed to be my dad. Like you should at least know.
He's supposed to be my dad.
Like
You see, you hear that distance in language? He's supposed to be my dad. Who else is he, Melissa? Is he my dad? He's not my dad. He's supposed to be my dad. He's your dad. You're not sure?
Yeah, he is. He is.
See, this is one thing, like I said, for me, like I say all the time, confront all the problems that you have in your life. Whatever they are, you need to confront them. Because
Not Donivan. I'm gonna have me out here like I have daddy issues.
They have what?
Daddy issues.
We already know you have dad issues. That's not new. That's old. However, right, I think they can easily be solved. Here's why. One of the things I was gonna say. I feel like I always told Melissa that for her to ascend to the next level of her life and of maturity, or to just become a better person, she has to confront whatever conflict she has with her mother, any issue that she feels like she has with her mother, anything she wants to address. She has to talk to her mom as an adult to be able to now solve whatever turmoil she has within herself. Right now, I feel like Melissa does that or tries to do that, but I don't feel like it has the impact on her that it should. Maybe she doesn't confront it enough, but I feel like it doesn't have that impact. However, from the small whatever happened today, I feel like the energy should have been directed to her confronting her dad. And the reason I say this is because as a guy myself who has grown up with two parents, my mom and my dad, they did not live together. However, I was raised by both of them. Right now, one thing that I learned growing up, people who have both their parents will learn this too, or who they understand this too. A lot of times the stories tend to differ depending on who you're talking to about what happened, right? So for me specifically, there's one example that I have where my mom was very upset with my dad. Oh, I can't believe he would do this. Oh my God, what kind of man would ever do a thing like this? Oh my goodness, why? Your dad is just trifling, right? So I'm like, wow, he must be that's terrible that he would do that, right? So what he did was he bought her a dress for, I believe, her birthday, and he took it back, right? So she was livid. I can't believe he would do that, right? So imagine as a kid, you hear this. You're like, why would my dad ever just buy her or just take it back? You don't do that. That's just disrespectful, right? That's if you only have one side of the story. In this situation, my dad is there. So I could ask him, hey, so I was talking to my mom, right? And she said to me some story about a dress, right? Now, again, I wish I could remember the specifics, but I do not remember the specifics. But I know when I asked him about the story, it was very different from his perspective as opposed to her perspective, right? Now, the reason why this is important is because it allows me to weigh both sides. And when you weigh both sides, you know what happens? You decide you don't even care. You decide, I don't even care about the stupid dress. However, if all my life I live with my mom or live with my dad, and one person is like, oh, you gonna go to your mom's house and she don't got this and she don't got that, and you know your mom used to do this when I was growing up, you know she a hoe, right? If you living with your dad and you talk about your mom like that, you know what you're gonna grow up to be? You're gonna treat women like shit. You're gonna be like, oh, women's is hoes. I can't deal with no women because all they do is fucking cheat. That's what you're gonna be. If you grow up with a woman or your mom and she's talking about how bad your dad is, she's talking about some, oh, I'm gonna see your dad's house as a punishment. Because like I said, that's happened to my sister. Very similar situation. And to me, I think it's detrimental because it's like, why would you want to paint your father why would you want to demonize your father? And how can I put this? Why would you want to demonize your father? I'm phrasing this wrong. Why would you want to demonize your child's father before they get to know who that person is? So you should let your child talk to the parent and then decide how they feel about them. But if you are instilling how you feel about the parent into your child, the child never gets to decide, oh, actually I like my parent, or maybe the parent treats me different than they treat you. It becomes a different conversation. But if you only have one side of that, you don't really get to see what both perspectives are, right? So I say all this to say, my girlfriend, who's beautiful, amazing, and phenomenal, was raised by one parent, her mother, right? Now, it's very rare this happens. I honestly don't know any situation where it does happen, because every time I can think about it, it usually happens in this way. The mother usually talks about how bad the dad is. This is across the board. I feel like this happens with my mom, and my dad was there. Now, she would still be like, this is what my mom would do, and she'll probably do it now too. She'll be like, man, your dad was just, oh my God, your dad was just so much. He was just, right? And then she'll go, now, I don't say nothing bad about him. I'm not going to talk bad about your dad. Like, he's your father, and he's a great man, and he does good things. You know, he raised you properly. But, oh, my God, boy, was he this, and why he ain't want to, and then you just sitting there like, but you're still talking bad about him. So I still, as a child, you still hear the negativeness coming out about your dad, right? In that situation. So, same thing with my sister's mom. Similar situation, same thing, where it's like, oh, you gonna go to your dad's house, that's a punishment, you don't want to go over there, oh, your dad ain't shit, your dad didn't do this for you or this for me, and remember, and this is what happens too, right? This will be a funny thing. Now, think about how crazy this is, right? As a parent, because I know people who are parents out there, people who are going to become parents, don't do this, right? Imagine you have a 3-year-old child, right? And let's say the parent, the dad in the situation decides, you know what, I forgot to come pick my child up from school a couple times, right? At 3 years old, let's say 4 years old, let's say 4. I think you were in school at 4. You know what parents will do, or a mother in this situation? When you turn 15, they're gonna be like, you know your dad did pick you up from school, right? You know when you was 4 years old, your dad, he just kept not picking you up from school. He's always late to pick you up from school, right? Now, as a 15-year-old, you like, that's terrible. I don't know why he would do that. Yeah, exactly. That, you need to find exactly that. Why would he do that, right? Now, as a 15-year-old, you don't care, but just that little inkling of information now makes you look at your other parent like, what kind of parent? What kind of parent were you? Now, the reason, like I said, for Melissa's case, why it's not that good is because she has not called her dad and been like, hey, so why you left me at school when I was 4? Why you ain't come pick me up? She ain't asked that question. She just said, okay, well, you ain't shit dad. You ain't pick me up at 4 years old. I ain't talking to you. Happy birthday. I ain't responding. Merry Christmas. I ain't responding. And you gonna text me Melissa with 1 S? How dare you? You ain't shit. What kind of father are you to forget? You even spell my name? Typos? Fuck out of here. Ain't no typos. You supposed to know how to spell my name, right? That's how Melissa feels. So this is how a lot of people grow up, right? Because what happens is they never want to address what they think may happen, right? Now, what I mean by that is they may not want to have the conversation with their parent, in my opinion, because they have to then find out the truth. And when you find out the truth, it may then shed a different kind of light on the other parent. This has happened to me on multiple occasions, because for periods of time, and this is what they would do. They would say, listen, don't tell your dad, don't tell your mom I told you this, all right? But you know, before you was born, right? You know, she used to be annoying and shit. She was your mom, right? And you just like, okay. And mind you, 5, you're like, all right. My dad said, don't tell my mom this, right? You're like, okay, I won't tell her. Then you go to your mom's house. You're like, come here. Don't tell your dad I told you this, right? he cheating. He always cheating when he was younger. He's always cheating. And you just like, okay. So now you're sitting there in the room, right? You sitting there in this room. Now you got information about your dad and about your mom. And you can't ask about because they both told you don't tell the other one, right? So now you're like, damn, what should I do? You know what you should do? I'm going to tell you what you should do. Okay, here's what you should do as an adult. Now, anybody listen to this. Ask them. Hey, what you was cheating on my mother? Why? What happened? Why she told you that? Yes. Man, she always lying about cheating. Right? And here's the thing. It's not about getting down to the truth. It's really not. It can help to find the truth out, but it's not about that. It's about understanding that both your parents are human beings. Maybe your mom is lying. Maybe your dad wasn't cheating. Maybe your dad is lying. Maybe he ain't shit and was treating your mom like shit. Who knows? But at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to erase that superhero image of your parents in your mind that they are both human beings. Because when you have one parent who is telling you all the bad things about the other parent, you're going to look at this one parent like, oh my God, you're amazing. Like, you did all this hard work and stuff. It was amazing. It was crazy, right? I have another example that I have in my life where, like I said, a lot of examples like this, but this one is kind of interesting too. So, for a period of my life, I lived in I live in Baltimore, Maryland, right? For like a year or two. Now, again, story always gonna be murky when you try to ask your parents what happened. They always gonna be like, I mean, all of that, right? So the story that I've been told is that my mother was going to school. That's what I was told, and she sent me to live with my aunts in Maryland because I wanted to do that. That's what she told me. Something like that, right? I might call her and ask her right now. When I told my dad this, he was like, Niles. That's my middle name, by the way. He goes, Niles. I live 20 minutes away. Why on earth would I want my son in another state? Why would I not? If I take care of you now, why would I want you to go and live with somebody else, right? So now I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. But I was in Maryland. And then, this little side note, PS, on this information I'm about to give you is kind of funny. So I had actually, I think I told you the story, right? When I got with the paper clip.
With the paper clip, I remember something about you.
Okay, right. So I'm in school. I'm in the second grade, I believe it was, right? And there was a a staple on the carpet, right? Now I'm in the second grade. I don't know how old you are, maybe 5, 6, right? So you I don't even call it mischievous. You just bored at that point, right? So I would see a little staple on the carpet, so I flick it off the carpet, right? Staple hits the teacher's foot, right? Teacher tells my uncle, I threw a stapler at her. Right? Now, if you guys don't know the difference between a staple and a stapler, I'm going to let you think about that. There's a staple, what you staple a paper with, the little metal piece, and then there's the stapler, which is the actual attachment, the big heavy shit. There's that. Now, this woman told my uncle I threw a stapler at her, and I'm sitting in the chair like I did not throw no stapler at her. Like, that's crazy. Uncle didn't want to hear that. He's like, nah, you got to be lying because she's a teacher. I'm like, why would I throw a stapler at her? Like, why on earth would I do that, right? So I got home. I'm in Baltimore. I got the beating of my life, for sure. Beating of my life. So bad, my legs turn colors. Blue, green, yellow colors, right? So I'm like, this is Jordan's dad, right? So I'm like, oh, nah, this is crazy. So I called my dad, right? He drives, like, I don't know, might have been the next day. But it might have been that day. Comes to get me from school, middle of class. Like, nah, we going. You're not living up here no more. They're not going to beat my son like that. And then, right? Why would my dad, who don't want me to live with him, come to get me from another state for getting beat and bring me back here and put me in school, right? So you start hearing things like that, and it makes you go, I got to find out what happened. So I'm going to call my mom right now. I'm going to see if she has an answer for me as to why I was in this other school. We're going to see right here in the podcast. We're going to see what she has to say. I got a question. A quick question.
Yeah.
So, do you remember when I went to live in Baltimore? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Why was I living in Baltimore as opposed to living with my dad?
You just, oh gosh.
I always forget.
What brings this up?
I'm on the podcast right now, and I was talking to Melissa and because she actually does not talk to her dad, right? And her dad, she called him today, and I'm always saying that the story's always different depending on who you ask. So I'm like, I don't actually remember the reason why I was in Baltimore, but I feel like the reason that you gave me is different than the reason my dad gave me. But I don't really remember both reasons, but I want to know what your reason was, 'cause I don't really remember it.
So I'm going to tell you my story. And another person that knows the story is your Auntie Angel.
She with you?
At the time, I was getting ready to go. I was trying to finish up a session of. I was going to what was considered a law school, but it was based in London, and so
you was in London.
It was in London, but they had some people here. Oh, but it was it was mandatory that I do something like 2 weeks or so in London.
You were in London when I was in Baltimore?
No, I didn't. I never. It never happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of other crazy things happened. But that's why I was trying. That's why Neffy went to live with her father. You went to live with yours. And that's what I thought. I said, this would be good. I said, for the school year, I says, can Neffy stay with her dad and you stay with your dad for the school year? And while I do this, I don't know if it was maybe 9-10 month course, whatever. And so your father didn't want to sign on. And I'm like, Paul, I really need you to do this because if you remember, you was going to the Gifted and Talented across the street. And I said, it was so hard for me to get you in there. And I didn't want you to miss that opportunity because they had a whole track of how they, once you go there, then they had you was going to different schools and they were going to, follow your track. Everybody who was in the Gifted and Talented was going to go on the same path. So I kept saying, Paul, I don't want him to go anywhere else. I want him to stay in this Gifted and Talented. But he didn't want to do it. So I told him, I said, I mean, trust me, I begged and begged and begged. It's not going to happen. I don't even know his reason, but I'm sure he had a reason. So then I said, well, you know what? You and Jordan were the same age. Angel was like, look, babe, I want you to go on with your schooling. Go ahead and do what you have to do. I'll take Donivan. Since him and Jordan are the same age, they'll be, around the same class, whatever. Okay. I put you over there, and then your father decides he'll use that opportunity to go to court and say that I sent you over there without his knowledge, without consent, without whatever. And I'm just like, and the thing is, your Uncle David, because he didn't want to get in the middle of it, he's like, look, I'm not getting in the middle of whatever you and Paul are doing. I'm going to talk to Paul, and he talked to him for at least 2 hours on the phone. Plus, I think they wrote a letter of an agreement of what was going to go down. And even still, when he went to court, he then said, no, I didn't know anything. They didn't tell me. So, and all of this wound up making me having to go to court with him and go in and out and in and out. It totally, I couldn't do much of anything. So, but that's more or less what happened. Like I said, and your aunt has, the other half, because they were really upset with him because what he did, he went straight to your school, didn't tell them. And they had a release, like they were talking because he and I were like, we was at each other's throats. So they were talking. And so they would let you that you would go over and visit because he would go and see your Uncle Eric. And they was like, this is, open door policy. Just let me know. You want to come visit. He can come. You could take him from here. He went to your school, took you out. The whole school was like, who is this person? Why didn't y'all tell us if somebody's picking him up? Blah, blah, blah. So he really made a mess for them over there. He made a mess for me over here. And it just really got bad. And that's more or less, he more or less had leverage in the court because but also I know he heard, because enough of his friends have gone through something similar. So he used a lot of the same wording and everything else. And we're just like, well, we had everything, everything was amicable. Like, why did you go this route? But, because if you take a child out of state and without the other's consent, it can cause a problem. And that's what he made it seem like. And that's totally not what it was, but that's what he wanted it to seem like. So, but that's what happened.
Okay, so question. I was under the impression that the beating that I got from Uncle David was the reason why I was taken back to New York.
No. Well, definitely your father didn't care for. I definitely didn't care for it. And I told Angel, I'm like, look, you know, your Uncle David and I never really were all that great together. And I'm just like, Angel, I more or less put Donivan in your care. Like, don't have this man. I mean, I know you're your uncle. She's like, oh, he's his uncle. But no, he's not. It's not blood. You know, so and I was like, why didn't you spank him? I didn't want David spanking. I'm like, that didn't make sense to me, and it really angered me because anytime you spent time with your aunt, you spent more so with her, so you really didn't have a relationship with your uncle. So I'm just like, you don't let him beat him, because then you always going to have a feeling towards him because you had an ongoing relationship with your aunt. So that's why I was just like, I didn't really like that. Your father, like, none of us liked it because we just felt like it should have been Angel. So that's how that went.
See, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, like, I thought as a child that was the reason I was taken from school, but you are saying that is not the reason. So what did he gain from taking me from Maryland or from Baltimore back to New York?
Well, knowing how cheap your father is, I'm saying this is why he did what he did. I mean, I'm sure he'll repent for it as whatever he is. He really, just like with Jasmine, he did not want to pay child support. And your father was paying extremely low child support. But he did not want me to have the leverage of being able to ever take him for child support. Because I think, and it wasn't so much that I was taking him, but what happened is if I was getting other services, they had to have an accounting of where he was, and he had to be paying something. So I'm just like, okay. So I think he had maybe 2 jobs or something. So he was like, okay, I'll put my part-time. So he was paying something like $60 a week, I think. It was like $60 a week. And I'm just like, even if you like, don't make a big deal out of this, like, just let it go. And he's just like, no. So he wanted to go to court and get custody of you, so that if he had custody, at least on paper, he wouldn't have to pay. And he was like, let me just get custody on paper. And then if you want to keep him, you can keep him. But I just want custody on paper so I don't have to pay child support. And I would never be able to have that leverage over him, or possibly, like, if he made more or less, he never wanted me to have that leverage over him. And he was like, well, I'm not going to. And what was happening when we went to court, neither one of us, because usually they would have to find fault with me or him, and they couldn't find fault with either one of us, and they put us through the ringer. That's even why you was going through the psychiatrist, because they wanted to see, like I said, nobody was on drugs, nobody abused you, nobody. So they went through. So you found what you wanted? Okay. Right, and so it was just hard for them to make a determination, and it was, so what they tend to try to do in courts, what I've learned, they'll keep letting it linger and linger until you either guys get tired or something does come up. And so it was just miserable. And then at a certain point, because we just kept going to court, I said, okay, you know what? Give him custody on paper. And once I gave him custody on paper, he was like, okay, if he want to stay with you, he can stay with you. And that's more or less what happened. Your father had you know how he was. He had a real big problem with money. He did not want to part with his money. That was, I don't really know what that was about, but he felt very strongly about that, and that's why I feel like Jasmine, among other things, but like I said, when she was going to school, he quit his job because he didn't want to pay child support, and he was working for transit. That's where him and Marty was both working for transit. He was like, but they wanted him to pay like $1,200, I think, every 2 weeks or every month. It was kind of big, but still, I think it was like $600 every 2 weeks. Yeah, every time he got paid $600. He thought he would hit 10 ceilings, and he was like, I'll quit before I pay my mother all that money, because he didn't feel like it was warranted.
on paper, I guess staying with him. How old was I? Where was I staying at that point?
By that time, because that was around 8, because everything more or less happened when he was like 8, 9-ish. And we tried it for a little while. But I mean, even still, you was kind of staying there. You was kind of between the two. But I mean, like I said, that definitely, because that was around 3rd grade, it was 8, 9-ish. And everything kind of went on until maybe up to 12 or whatever. But it was just whatever. But that answered your question?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, later.
Okay, bye.
So what do you think about what you heard, Melissa? What do you think about what you heard?
I heard parts what you were talking about. Where it's like
little jabs, right? Little jabs.
But it's enough for you to be like, this night.
Right? But think about this. When you're 6 years old, are you able to discern what are little jabs? You can't really discern that. You can't go, are you being petty, Mom? At 5 or 6. You can't really see that. So, one of the things I noticed from the conversation is that she said that on paper, he wanted me to stay with him so he doesn't have to pay child support.
Yeah, that sounds like something that you said to me.
Right? But then I actually stayed with him.
Oh, you did?
Yes. She was saying I was around that time I was back and forth. I would live with him, live with her, and then from 12 until I was 18. Honestly, I lived with my dad since I was in the 6th grade. Honestly, I think it was before that. I think I lived with him because I was at. Yeah, because I'm okay. So I moved back here when I was in the 2nd grade, right? The 3rd grade was the Catholic school. So I started Catholic school in the 3rd grade. The Catholic school was close to my dad's house. So he used to take me to school there. So I don't really know how I would have been going to school there if I was living with my mom. But then my mom moved up here when I was in the 5th grade. Like 5th or 6th grade. So at that point, it's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like they're 7 blocks away from each other. So I can stay over here. I'll stay over there. At that time, I was staying mostly at my dad's house. So I think it's interesting that she would say that he would want me to be on his child support paperwork to live with him, but then also take up the responsibilities of doing that, as opposed to being like, I don't pay child support and I don't want to do anything.
Interesting.
Right.
Oh, but it sounds like
all he wanted to do was not pay child support and not deal with you, but he didn't pay child support because I was living with him, and he was taking care of me, and she was not paying child support. So, like I said, it sucks that I can't ask him these questions because he was murdered by my aunt and his girlfriend last year. But, I just think it's funny. I got to see an example of it, right? So, I just wanted to bring that to you guys because one of my pet peeves is parenting for adults and how I feel like people don't take it seriously. I think it's also funny how Kevin Samuels talks about this, where he goes, hey, you have a kid at 20, 21 years old, and then you feel like at 35, you should still have access to the same people you did if you didn't have a kid. And it's like, no, there are consequences for your actions, right? So there are consequences for raising your child a certain kind of way, and I don't want people to have children when they have not worked on themselves enough to have a kid, because then you start to have problems where the parent is trying to get back at the other parent by using the kid to do it. They're treating the kid bad because they feel bad about the other. You don't want to raise a child in that kind of environment. So I always feel like you should address whatever toxic issues you have first. It's easy. You just ask yourself, what would I address if I was trying to not be toxic anymore? It's going to come to your mind immediately. And that is the thing that you need to address. It's going to come to your mind. It comes to everybody's mind. If you go, damn, what do I need to work on? It's going to come to your mind. You're going to go, I don't want to do that. And that's the problem. That's how you end up staying toxic and having kids and doing issues and having whatever is going on with this, right? But I digress a little bit. Melissa is going to see her father at some point. That would be very nice. I would love to have Melissa and her dad relationship. Like I said, I want her to have a relationship with her dad and with her mom. I want her to be able to talk to both of them and see them as human beings, and then be able to just have regular conversation with them. That's how I would like the relationship to be. And I think it's very interesting because there were 2 times that Melissa used this distancing language talking about her dad, and I don't ever feel like up until today, really, that Melissa ever considered this guy her dad or herself as his daughter. Because when I say it, I feel like she gets choked up whenever I say it. So I feel like she's like, she ain't say this because I just see it in her reaction. I'm like, that's your dad, like you're his daughter. I guess like, yes, you're his daughter and that is your dad. That's your father. So, for every woman out there, go talk to your dad, please. Just have a conversation with him, call him, and don't listen. I'm telling you, the story I've been told as a kid is probably wrong, and it may not even be on purpose. It's just wrong. Talk to your dad. So Airbnb, you guys know that we are trying to get an Airbnb. We have decided, we are like 99.107% sure that we are going to turn the house in Philadelphia into an Airbnb. We believe from the analytics that we ran, we could probably bring in like $6,000 a month. Honestly, at the high end, like $9,000 a month. That's on like the super high end, would be like $300 a night. That's honestly, I've seen higher than that. But I'm gonna say at the high end, we could charge $300 a night. So that's like $9,000 a month. And then on a low end, I think we could do like $4,500 a month, right? From the math that I kind of did, estimated it, I think we have to pay property taxes. We're going to have to pay utilities. We're going to have to pay the refinancing of the loan. I'll explain that in a second. With all of those expenses, I think we should probably still be at like $2,000. So that means the house should be able to bring us $2,000 a month, which, hey, $24,000 a month profit net in our pocket. We don't have to do anything. That's $500 a week that we don't have to. We just collect. And that's on the low end. That's not if we're making $250 or charging $250 or whatever crazy number we could charge per month. Now, refinancing means this. People who are unaware of how it works. We bought the house at $116,000. We're going to put $75,000 into it. That's going to bring us to, I think it's $187 if I'm not mistaken. 116 plus 75 brings that 191, right? So when you refinance, that means you get a new mortgage on your property, right? So we had to take out a hard money loan to buy the property. So right now we owe them the 116 plus 75, but we put a down payment of damn near $40,000 on the house. So do the math, it's like 150, right? So if Melissa and I do Airbnb and we refinance the house, that means we will get a new loan for the house, a bigger loan. You get a loan based off of what an appraiser does. An appraiser comes to your house and says, hey, I think your house is worth $320,000. And then you go to another bank and you say, hey, this appraiser told me my house is worth $320,000. I want to take a loan out for 75% of that amount or 80% of that amount, whatever that number is. Whatever. Let's, in this case, for an example purpose, let's say it's 100% of the amount, right? So you say, hey, bank, I want to get a loan for $320K. They go, great. Why? Their appraiser says we're $320. Okay, fine. Here's $320,000. I take that $320, right? And I pay off the old lender, the hard money lender, right? Now the bank has a 30-year mortgage, so they're going to charge me less interest every month than a hard money lender because they're like, hey, we want our money back right now. We're going to charge you 12% interest every month. The refinance might charge us like 3%, 5% every month. We have $320,000 in cash. We pay off the $150. Now we have $150 left in cash. So we can now take that $150 and buy another house and still collect the rent or the Airbnb money from the first house. This is called a BRRRR strategy. BRRRR. I think it's buy, renovate, refinance, repeat, right? I think that's how it's called. So that's the plan right now. So we're excited. We're really excited. We really want to do the Airbnb. Like we're really listen. In the beginning of the year, we dropped the podcast. I don't know what the actual date of it was. And we had goals for this year. And I think it's crazy because we have somehow stumbled into these goals. We have a property which will become an Airbnb. And we will then use that money to get a second Airbnb. And that's not including us moving to Atlanta and getting Airbnb jumping down there. It is what it is. We out here, Bamboo Project 2021. We going up, the vibes. So, all I want y'all to know is y'all see it here first. Shit's getting crazy. It's little inches. Like, it's not. Listen, if you go on our page, is it our page? Where is it? No. Where is it? The Bamboo Project. I think it's on our website, the bambooprojecthousing.com. It might be on there about how the Bamboo Project grows and how we are growing like that. It's not gonna be a big jump. You're gonna see little tiny little inches here and there, and then boom, next thing you know, we rich and famous. How'd they get here? Watch the podcast. So, as far as YouTube goes, one thing I've noticed a trend I kind of started to see, which is interesting because I kind of said it's going to happen from years ago. I think everybody is going to end up having like a vlog channel because it's a situation where I don't think people still want to be doing all the pranks and all of the childish stuff, and you're trying to create content for YouTube. I think people want to be able to just record their regular life and then put that out there. So I feel like I'm starting to see that now. Everybody that has channels, finance channels and real estate channels and stuff like that, everybody's starting to like lean into just having a really like a life channel. Oh, look at me, we're doing lifestyle stuff now. You already know we have a catalog of that already on here, so we already had it a game when it comes to that. On top of that, I think what's going to happen is people's lives are not actually interesting, and that's what we want to do. Our goal is to make our life interesting and then just record it. We don't want to make our life interesting for YouTube, but like, hey, we actually want to be good people and good and safe and secure in our actual life, and then say, hey, this is how we did that. But I feel like a lot of other people are going to be like, damn, okay, what's popping right now? People, iPhones? All right, I'm going to go to the store and buy an iPhone right now for my vlog channel because that's what's popping. And it's like, listen, do you. Get the bag. Do what you want to do. However, in my opinion, what I've seen, it's going to tire people out. People are going to be like, damn, I got to find something to create content on. I just got to find some shit. Oh, my God.
That's when you start, just doing weird. Have people rob you.
Right. Because I'm like, listen, imagine, down to the story about my neighbor, right? Imagine if I faked that. Like, imagine if I was like, all right, what are we going to do with Melissa? I bet. We going to have a guy on drugs across the hall come to the apartment, give us his PS4, and we're going to be like, oh my God, what is going on? And then we're going to hire some police to come over here and bring out a dead body down the hallway, and we're going to record it and be like, oh my God, this is our actual... It's our actual life. Like, this is shit that just happens on a regular basis. The thing about it is, because we do not make content for YouTube to become famous on YouTube, there are going to be gaps between these things, because that's life. But what happens is, when you make content for YouTube, what you've seen with most creators is they have to be better than the last thing. Okay, I did last time, I got 100 views, I gotta do more. Yeah, like when I fell and broke my ankle, I'm gonna break both my ankles. Oh, you like when I broke both my ankles? I'm gonna break my arm and both my ankles. Okay, I'm gonna get into a car. And you're like, bro, honestly, like I said, it's good for YouTube. I'll watch that shit like, this person crazy. But you still a real person in real life. Like, do you really want to deal with the nonsense in real life of like, you have 2 broken ankles and a broken arm? For what? So you can look at this number and say, oh, I got a bunch of views and money. Listen, we gonna get the money, the views, and the fame and everything else, but we're just not gonna go and chase after it. Like, we're not gonna do that. So like I said, I'm telling you, you're gonna start seeing it. Let's watch your favorite channels that don't have vlog channels. Just start popping up a little. Hey guys, I think I want to start going to be more personal with my channel. You know, I can't, like with the fashion channels too. I don't want to just do hauls. I don't want to just talk about finances. It gets boring. I don't want to talk about just real estate. It happens. I'm telling you, you're gonna see it. It happens over and over again, and it's every time. I see it all the time. So watch out for that. You heard it here first. Bamboo Project 2021. The last thing in life update that I want to talk about, very short. I think it's funny because, again, you guys know, if y'all part of the story, a part of the family, I know there's a guy who was dating my cousin, and he asked to come on the podcast, right? He was supposed to come on today. That was the plan. He didn't come on today. Oh shit. Oh, that's Thursday. Okay. Today's Tuesday. He's supposed to come on today. That was the plan. She asked me. She said, "Hey, he wants to come on." I said, "All right, sure. You know me. Listen. Like I told you, content. I don't chase content. It just happened. I just do my thing. People like, all right, I'm gonna come on. However, As you can see, we're here. It's Tuesday. Nobody's here except me and my girlfriend. That's it. So he's not here. However, according to her, they will be here tomorrow. So you already know next week will be interesting. Hopefully. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. But all I know is he's supposed to come tomorrow with her because Melissa made my cousin a dress. So she'll be coming tomorrow to try it on. Maybe she'll put it on Instagram on the Bamboo Project clothing page. The Bamboo Project _clothing. You can see it on there. And he'll be here tomorrow. Now, I don't know how he's going to act. I don't think... I'm very curious to see how that goes. Because I kind of have some questions. I want to ask... I got some questions about what the plan is for them two. Like, I'm just curious. Like, I want to know. So, let's say when I find out, y'all will know. My family will all my family will know. We all will figure it out together. And, you know, hopefully y'all don't fall into the same mistakes that other people are making. But that wraps it up for the life update. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Because that was interesting. A little bit different, but interesting. So, you know, that wraps up for a life update. Okay. Now, one thing I want to correct from last week, I said, I think I said something like, something along the lines of, I think I said like, I was improving myself, and obviously I'm not ugly now because I get girls. Now, that's not true. I can still be ugly. I don't know. I do know I can still get girls, because I didn't want to come off. I didn't want people to think like just because you get girls, you're not ugly. I didn't want nobody to think that, because that's not true. A lot of ugly people getting bitches out here. A lot of them. Fat, ugly, skinny, all types of colors, all types of shapes and sizes are getting bitches. I just wanted to say it because, like I said, I was talking about last week about improving yourself and how you can have a barometer to improve yourself. You say, hey, people say I'm ugly because I can't get no bitches. Well, it's like, all right, well, I'm getting bitches now. And it's like, you're still ugly, but you're getting bitches. So people don't really care, but you're still ugly. So that's not trying. If you can fix being ugly, then I would say do it if you can, without getting surgery. But the stuff like that, you would be wash your face, take care of your skin, get a haircut, maybe do your hair, make sure you clean, just like brush your teeth, get your teeth straight and stuff like that. Like those kind of things is what I mean by make you attractive and make you, not ugly. But if you just an ugly person, like if you just ugly, some people are just ugly and you can't get around that. Like some people are just 5s on a good day. It's just what it is, and you can't get around that, and that it's okay, because there are a lot of 5s who are doing very well in life. They're married and happy, they have money, they can fuck really well. A lot of 5s are doing good out here, but they just ugly. It's okay. It's all right. That's all I'm saying. Like, example, I don't know if I'll call him ugly. And when you get money, are you even really ugly anymore? Because Ian Connor, you know Ian Connor? He used to say he was ugly. He used to say he was like a little turtle and shit. But he be fucking bad bitches. And he got money. Hang out with Kylie Jenner and a bunch of other people. And it's like, I'm pretty sure a lot of, quote, attractive people would not mind look like Ian Connor. Or at the very bare minimum, they're going to go, well, he's not that ugly. Like, I see why people like him. I wouldn't date him, but I understand. And at that point, that's all you need. That's all you need. Somebody to be like, he's not the 10, but he's okay. He's like a little cute turtle, So it's like, you don't want to be a 5 and you ain't shit. Like, that's terrible. Not now. That's terrible. You can improve the ain't shit part. You can't improve being a 5. Like, you can't fix that. Also wanted to correct. Melissa has said that. No, I had said that Melissa used to get annoyed or anxious or rude gal. She should do that when I would take pictures of her. However, she was more upset at the fact that I was taking pictures of her while other people were around, right?
Because it was a narrow sidewalk, and people had to stop walking because I was taking a photo. So that's what made me anxious, as opposed to just the fact that you were taking a photo of me.
Okay, so
I don't like being in other people's way.
Right. Okay. So what happened was we were on the sidewalk. I had a camera out with my iPhone at the time, I think, and I don't know. You take a picture out, people start acting weird. People start like ducking. People start standing still, like, oh, don't worry, I'll wait. And you gotta go, no, don't worry, go by, it's fine. And then they're like, no, take the picture. Oh my God, he's pretty. Like, it's like that. It's like a natural thing that happens. Like, people that take pictures outside, you'll see this happens all the time. If I pull a phone out on the street, people just walk around me.
But the thing is, where we were, it was a narrow street. It was a narrow street, and it was busy too, because it was right in front of the Starbucks and right next to Central Park. So the train station was taking up a part of the sidewalk. Like, I just felt like it wasn't the best place to take it.
So Melissa freaked out, started cursing me out, crazy. So told me to shut up. I think
I might have cursed.
you told me to shut up.
I remember doing that.
Yeah, because what happened was, this is how, like, Melissa will get built up.
It wasn't like an angry shut up. It was, but I remember.
It was passive aggressive. That's what it was. She was mad that I had took out my phone, take a picture of her. And I think she was wearing something nice that day. I don't know what she was. I was taking a picture of my girlfriend because, I love her.
I wasn't your girlfriend at the time.
Okay, my girlfriend now, who was almost my girlfriend then. I was taking a picture of her, and I'm like, hey, click. And then, mind you, at the time, I'm pretty sure while I was taking a picture, people were just like, don't worry, it's fine. And I'm like, Melissa, they're saying it's fine. And you're like, yeah, like that. So
Be taking pictures of me. I don't know if you saw the pictures that Nephew took of me the other day.
I did. And then, listen, at the end of the day, you can't get better at taking pictures unless you take more pictures. So, like I said, I think it's funny too. I'm gonna give you a little insight. I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again right now. When we get some money, right, we're gonna start doing like the whole Instagram thing. Like, we're gonna start like taking mad photo shoots, like mad funny photo shoots. Like I said, I want to do a lot of cartoons. I want to do like anime. I want to do like I was thinking about Kids Next Door earlier. I want to do like maybe some what's that one, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, just funny stuff. Maybe like the Roadrunner and the guy he be chasing, like just funny stuff that people like to see, that kind of thing. Marketing, you feel me? Real like softened filters on our face where we just look like we look like dolls. And I also was thinking about doing this, right? It's a theory, or I don't want to call it theory. I want to have the whole page be photo shoots of us like that look mad fire, but there will be multiple pictures, so you can actually see once you swipe like how we actually look as regular people. It's not going to be edited, and it might see like behind the scenes pictures of us like either getting dressed or somebody taking pictures, stuff like that. That's how I want it to be. So when you first come to the page, it looks fire, but then when you go to an actual picture, you can swipe and see, oh, that was a photo shoot, they did this and they did that and it was crazy and whatever. So yeah. Now one thing that Melissa and I talked about too recently was valuing women. Last week, this is a conversation we had, and I always think it's very hard to value women. Melissa's friend came over here. Shout out to Ariel. Came over here on Sunday, and we were talking about what makes a woman valuable. And we've had this conversation on the podcast probably like 4 or 5 times at this point, I think. And every time we have this conversation, I feel like the answer changes, because it's almost like it's an abstract concept of what a woman's value is. And because it's abstract, it's very hard to pin down and nail it to one thing. Now, my theory, this is my new theory right now that I have. Women's value is attached to how great the man she's dating becomes after they are dating. That's what I think. I think you can measure a woman's value by what the man does after they get together. And yeah, because I'm like, bruh, I got a house, so Melissa is fire. So obviously, I mean, a lot of things got it right there. Honestly, I would not be in this apartment with for Melissa. So I think that tells you what kind of value you have, because, and I was thinking about this earlier today too, right? It's kind of funny. So we all know of Jeff Bezos, who has now vanished from all media because he's no longer CEO of Amazon. I don't know if y'all noticed that shit. Funny, I have not heard about him in mad long. He just poof, gone, right? All the time that people saying, oh, he don't pay his taxes. You see all these YouTube videos. You see Amazon is doing this and Jeff Bezos is worth this. Every week it was Jeff Bezos is worth 100 billion, 200 billion, 300 billion. Oh my God. Y'all think his network don't go up no more? You think his network just stopped going up because he's not CEO? No. He has the same amount of stocks he had before. His network is still going up. We just don't talk about it no more because the media doesn't say nothing about it. Why? Because people, it's just ridiculous. But besides the point. I think it's funny that once him and his wife got divorced, he is no longer Amazon CEO. So what does that say about the quality of the woman he's with now? I was thinking about that. I'm like, damn. Because I'm like, people might go, oh, well, Jeff Bezos' wife, they grew up, they honestly, from start to finish, she was there. And he grew into this behemoth of a company, right? I'm like, that's phenomenal. Then he does some wild shit, I guess, leaves her, cheats, whatever he does. And now he's not the Amazon CEO anymore. And I'm just like, I wonder what she was doing for the company or for him as a man that allowed him to be able to build Amazon like that. I'll be wondering that kind of stuff. Just be wondering. Like, she had to be doing something about it. Like, she had to be doing something. So, that's my theory. I don't like it necessarily because I never like to say that a woman is attached to the man. I really try to stay away from saying that because I think it breeds a lot of nonsense from men who are not secure with themselves. So I kind of am very hesitant on saying that, but I do think it's the truth. I think that women build men up. Like, you can be an amazing guy for sure, but if you talk to most amazing men, like let's say even Eric Thomas, is like, bro, honestly, that's crazy. Like, it's so crazy. Like, behind every great man is a great woman. It's a bar. You hear that, Melissa? You a great woman.
Mean that you can't be a great man without a woman.
I know you'd love me to say that, wouldn't you? You would love me to say that you can't be a great man without a woman. And as though it might be true, I know you would love me to say that. So
what do you think?
I'm not gonna say that.
Okay.
I don't think that a man will reach his full potential without a woman. I think men will be great without women all the time, but it's like the man.
Do your best.
No, exactly. Yeah, absolutely not. I think like a man could do all the things that people consider to be great, build a company by himself, be in shape, be smart and funny, intellectual, but him with a woman cannot compete with him without a woman. You just can't do it. You will lose to yourself without a woman every day. Like, I can say unequivocally from my chest that a Donivan without a Melissa would lose to a Donivan and a Melissa every day of the week. Every day of the week, hands down. There's no way. There is nothing that I could do as a Donivan by myself that could compete with what Melissa and I do now. It's impossible. So I'm like, was I great before? Absolutely. It's fucking amazing. Phenomenal. But shit, I ain't have a house. I ain't have an apartment. I ain't have $1,000. I ain't have none of that. I had some money. I was still doing well. I was smart, funny, charismatic, ambitious. But here we are. So look at my hair. See my beard? You see this? You see this shit? I have this. I did not have a beard when I was single. I didn't have this. So I just want y'all to see what I'm talking about. You could, by all means, fuck all the bitches you want, but you will never be able to beat you that got a bitch. I don't want to say that. It was a funny line, but you would never be able to beat you as a woman. you would never be able to beat you that has a woman. And women, listen, when you get with a man, your job, and not to nag him, because your job as a woman is to figure out what kind of battery does my man need? Oh, I'm talking bars today. What kind of battery does your man need? Because here's a problem with a lot of you women, a lot of you black women. All right, here's a problem, okay? Y'all need to understand. Sometimes your man need an A battery, not a double A. Y'all be double A battery and nobody need that. Y'all feel like, if I tell him to do this, he gonna do it. If I force him and nag him, it's like, no, he gonna leave you and cheat on you. You know why? Because you the wrong battery. We know what he needs. He needs Fiji water, okay? You Poland Spring. Don't be Poland Spring. Get your ass together. Get you some Fiji electric water. Be electric water for your man. All right. So, if your man doing great, it's because of you. He not gonna honestly, any man with a woman that's doing great will probably say that. I can't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, Eric Thomas says that all the time.
All the time. I'm like, I can't see why they wouldn't. I can't think of any man that has a wife that is like that. He's successful. Because honestly, oh my God, I'm dropping bars today. The only men that complain about their woman are men that ain't successful or ain't doing shit. That's the only men that be like, bro, my woman be fucking lazy, bro. I fucking hate this bitch, man. I can't believe. Oh my god, bro. Oh, I want to cheat. It's like, well, bro, maybe you. I don't know. Maybe you don't know, fam. You're not a successful dude. So I don't know. Maybe it's her. It could be you. I don't know. It's one of y'all. Y'all fucking relationship's all fucked up. I don't know which one of y'all it is, but it's one of y'all. Either she not valuable enough to make you successful, or you not successful enough to get a woman that is valuable. Figure that shit out. But all I know is you shouldn't be saying that your woman ain't shit. Unless she ain't shit, because sometimes women ain't shit. Because I've had some women who I talked to, and I was like, what you mean you don't want to do nothing with your life? Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? How's that work? Like, I can't deal with you. So either way, that was my theory about women's value attached to the quality of the man they are dating. Now today's topics.
You're like an hour and 14. So
let me see. I'm gonna do hyperinflation, and I could do 3 of those because I don't think they're all that long. So I could do like 3 or 4. I think do 3 or 4 of those. The first thing I'm gonna say, this is more so a bullet point or a theory that I have. Melissa and I came up with it recently. I gotta call my cousin to ask him this too. Yeah, I gotta ask him.
Question: what's your mom is the youngest?
Yes, and my dad is the youngest also. Yeah, obviously.
That's interesting. And do you know about, I guess, Neil?
Nah, I think he's the youngest. He might be like one of the youngest in the family of his.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of them. I'm gonna call him right now. Ask him a question real quick.
You gonna call Neil?
No, Jordan. Let's see if he answers. The oldest child should of a group of kids, a group of siblings, should date the youngest child of another group of siblings. I think that's what makes those two work, right? Now, that was what we said, right? That was it? Because you're the older, right? Then I think that the middle child should date the oldest child, right? That's what it was? No. A middle child should date an only child? Who's the only child date? They date the older child.
I don't know if we talked about the middle child.
We talked about the only child.
We talked about our only child dating the oldest child.
Yeah, so the oldest child should date the youngest child, as well as...
No. Yes, and the only child.
Right. Now, my theory, because I'm thinking about trying to get deeper into this, should the oldest child be a woman and the youngest child be a man? I think that's we got to look into. So look around in your families for people who are in successful relationships, because I think that Ariel is the oldest.
She's the oldest.
And he's the youngest, right?
He's a twin, so.
But he's the youngest one.
I think so, yeah.
Right? I think he's the youngest one. So here's my theory. If you want to have a happy relationship, here you go. The oldest woman of her siblings should date the youngest man of his siblings, right? Now, the oldest man of his siblings should date the only child of the other person's sibling. So you should date single children. What are they called? Only child. You should date an only child. If you're an older guy, if you're the oldest guy in your group of siblings, you should look for a girl who's an only child. Okay. Now, reason behind that is only child are spoiled, right? As a older child, you've dealt with children before. You know how to deal with that nonsense because you have to raise your little kids. You have to raise your little brother, your little sister who's acting up all the time. So you should date the one who you already accustomed. You know how to deal with the nonsense. You understand it, right? You tell them, no, you're not getting that. You're not getting that. Now, Melissa's older than me, right? She's a woman. So she has
I'm older than you?
In her sibling group. Melissa is the older sibling of her group, right? So she's had to raise children, right? Now, I'm a younger child, so the youngest child. So I feel like Melissa fits my personality because she still has the parental, like, caring motherly role, because I don't necessarily think that younger children have that. The youngest child, I don't think that's their thing.
Yeah, y'all are more carefree and more so like live a little. You're not gonna die.
Right. We just like, let's just go out. Like, you're gonna be fine. So that's what I think, right? Now, the oldest daughter or the oldest woman, the youngest woman.
I don't know who she dates. We ain't get that far.
Yeah, we didn't. Who should the youngest woman date?
Because it's like, it's weird because the reason why I feel like the older child being a woman and the younger child being a guy is that it kind of balances out the gender roles in a sense, where it's like how guys are how guys are quote unquote supposed to be the more powerful in the situation, but I'm accustomed to being the oldest and kind of taking charge in that way. And you've also been accustomed to kind of taking the back seat in a sense, being the youngest. So it kind of balances out, because even though you do still take charge sometimes being the guy, I still take charge sometimes because of my experience of being the oldest. I
wouldn't say you take charge. I don't think that's where it comes into. I think that you are better able to manage me. I don't think it's about taking charge. I think it's like, you know how to deal with me personally because you've had to raise a youngest child before. So there are things that you've dealt with Justin and Jermaine that I will probably do. So you've accustomed to it. It's not as foreign. So with me, it's more like, I'm saying from top down, it's like that. And then from the youngest, yeah, I've dealt with older siblings because I'm the youngest one, so it's very familiar to both of us. It's more like, oh, I've been in this role before, so it's like I'm still a guy, right? And then it's like, you know how to manage me as being a guy, and because at the end of the day, I feel like everybody has their dominant and then their agreeable and then disagreeable traits. So I feel like because there are times that I want to be agreeable, you have the ability to be disagreeable because you are an older child. So you have to beat up your kids, your Justin and Jermaine and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of how I personally look at it.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Yeah, so I still have to flesh out the idea of who the youngest daughter gets. Don't worry, we'll come back to you.
That's what I was saying, because I'm like, the youngest daughter, it feel like it's at a double.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We gonna there's somebody out there. Honestly, who else is left? The youngest daughter.
Oh, so they're the only male child?
No, maybe no, possibly no. That's for the middle. That's for the only daughter. Wait, who you said?
Only male child. Because we never talked about an only.
I don't think so. I think because they're gonna be spoiled. They gotta be. I feel like that's what I'm saying. I don't think that works. I think they need to date a middle child. That's what I'm thinking.
The youngest. I
think the youngest daughter should date a middle man in the middle. So that's my theory right now. I'm gonna start looking at this. I'm gonna look into this more to see who's with who, what relationships work. Look around. What else? That's there. I want to talk about not that one. Oh, this one. Definitely this one. I believe. Let me the last one to talk about. I'll leave the other one for next week. I believe that men, as a man myself, I believe that we are perfectly fine with our woman leaving us for another man. I don't think we are as hurt, because if you ask a woman, right, what would you hate about your man cheating? They go, oh my God, I feel inadequate. And they feel like the girl, he's going to leave me and have feelings for the other person. And I don't want him to have feelings for her because he's going to leave me, right? I don't think guys feel like that. Guys feel the opposite. Guys feel like, I don't want my girl to fuck nobody else. If she decides that she wants to leave me for someone else, we feel better about that. It's like, bro, he's that dude. It's like I said, you don't feel as bad if your girl decides to go with somebody else. You're like, you know what? My girl is still respectable in the fact that she made a decision to date a better man than me. So I'm able to choose great women. She just chose a greater man than I am. So that's good. Now, if your girl cheat on you with a guy and she just fuck, you're like, damn, he did not even want to make you his girlfriend. Like, I feel bad. Like, damn, what kind of woman are you that he don't even want to be with you? It's like, I should probably leave you too. And I think it's so crazy because women are the reverse of that. Women are like, yeah, he fucked another woman, but like, did he catch feelings for her though? Because I mean, I don't want him to fuck nobody else, but like, is he gonna leave me for her? I don't want that the most. If you had to ask a girl to choose between the two, ask yourself this, women who are listening, because I have noticed that I have a lot of female listeners. A lot of women listen to the podcast. Would you rather your man, who you love, fuck somebody else, come back to you, you don't get no diseases, nobody gets pregnant, right? Nothing like that, no attachments, or he leaves you for another woman? I know your chest hurt when I said that. I know all the women that's heard me say that go, oh shit, that hurts. I know. Ask a guy the same question. Ask a guy that same question. He gonna be like, damn, my girl gonna fuck somebody gonna fuck my girl and like give her back to me? I don't want her. She for the streets. I don't want her. But now a man gonna come, a nice, strong, loving man's gonna come and take care of my girl and marry her and treat her right. Why would I not? Like, even think about it now. Why would I be mad? Like, oh my God, I can't believe she getting treated right. Ain't no woman ever say, well, you know, she treated him better than I was, so that's fine with me. That never happens. Women never say that. I have never heard a woman say, well, they're doing better now than they're not with me, and I'm happy for. No, they don't fucking say that shit. Unless they probably like crackheads or some shit, or they on drugs or meth addicts. Those are the only time they be like, well, you know, I was going through some shit, and that's crazy. Women do not say that. Women do not say like, oh, he's like, he doing.
What? That's not, no.
Guys will definitely be like, yo, bro, I'm happy for her. Like, she got somebody that's better than me. They going on vacation and shit. They traveling, taking care of her. I couldn't do none of that shit for her. Ain't no woman ever say, damn, I couldn't do none of that shit that girl do. I can't suck dick like that. I can't cook like that. I can't support him emotionally like that. I can't, the way she just be smiling at him, I guess. That's crazy. Listen, we on to something on the podcast. But that's my last topic for the day I wanted to touch on, because I think it's interesting. Think about that, guys. Think about it. Which one do you want? Ask your male friends. Which one do they want? So, you guys know the vibes. All right. So, we will be back here. We still working on an outro. I'm coming up with something. I just been so busy. I'm trying to think of something to come up with. Ooh. Unrelated, but the contractor sent us videos today of the house. Yes. So we were able to see the house after they cleaned it out, and it'll be cleaned out even more tomorrow. So I don't even know what more cleaned out means, because it's already cleaned out. That shit looks so amazing cleaned out.
The first floor.
Oh, facts. Second floor gonna be so big. Oh shit, the basement. Ooh, we about to have an Airbnb. Okay, so we will be back here next week. What happened? We are welcoming guests. We shoot between 10 and 12 on Tuesdays. We doing virtual shits. You know, I'm feeling kind of free and loose, like, you know, like a youngest child. So on Tuesdays, hit me up. We're trying to come on. If you have not already, you can check out our social medias. Mine, it's DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my beautiful, phenomenal, amazing, gorgeous girlfriend. And she be getting thick, yo. Ooh, I tell you, I've been mollywopping. It's crazy. AnetaBurn, ANETA. That spell it right? I don't want to ain't shit that. AnetaBurn. That is her Instagram. We have 6 different projects. Okay, we got the food project. We have the clothing project. We have the music project. We have the fitness project. We have the sports project, and we have the Bamboo Project podcast, which you just finished listening to right now. Okay, and with that being said, you know what it is. You know the vibes. We going up all year. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2021. Okay? And with that being said, that's fucked that whole shit up. Everything is fucked up. It was all backwards. My producer was a little late with the outro at the bottom. Just want you to know that. You don't think he was. Nah, I ain't have it in my head. So I have it on the screen, so I don't have to say it in my head. But you guys know the vibes. All right? Y'all enjoyed the podcast today. You know how we do this. But with that being said, Bamboo Project out.